apparently there is a human trafficking conspiracy going on Vinted. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, you might remember when we spoke about the Wayfair trafficking conspiracy. A lot of people noticed that on Wayfair, there's seemingly ordinary furniture listed for extremely extortionate high prices. Look at this. This is a Duracell 1 nightlight, a kid's nightlight, listed for $19,799.99, listed by Isabel and Max. All right? It's very, very unusual. It's strange. People are wondering what's going on. They're looking at the logo for Isabeline, this brand, and they're saying that it has weird references to logos that are involved in PDF file organizations, okay? People are saying that seller Isabel and Max has some really expensive stuff. $30,000 and $30,177 for some dinosaur artwork, all right? I doubt these are even still. I guess they're still active now. They've lowered the price. Now it's a normal price, but they were saying that this was $30,000. It says, looking at the description, that artwork totals £105. That's absurd. Each tile would weigh 20 pounds each, right? People are saying it was very suspicious. So this is what was going around for quite some time. This terrifies me. Room to grow. What the F is that? People were saying that this was all debunked. Wayfair denied the claims. Denial apparently means debunked. I'm surprised how fast people were to debunk this thing. Okay? A lot of conspiracies going around. A lot of people didn't believe it. $165,000 crystal table vase. Okay? So people were thinking this was going on. And then the rumor has it that, this got shut down or it got, debunked. But the theory got even bigger when people found some of the overpriced listings that had names on them that actually matched children that had gone missing. So this was going around at r/conspiracy. It says Wayfair traffics children, never forget. Okay. And what this would do is this would link some of these weird overpriced products to names of missing children. All right. So the throw pillow was a Durette throw pillow. It matched Mary Durette, who went missing. The Kyla cabinet, the Annabelle cabinet. This is another one. And again, these names are getting very specific. Duplius is another missing child. And there is a pillow exactly the same as this one going for $10,000 listed as the Duplius. That's a very unusual name. Okay. Then there was another girl missing from Columbus, Ohio. Samia Yasmin, the Samia 5-shelf storage cabinet, $12,000. Yuritsa Castro, the Yuritsa storage cabinet by WFX Utility, $13,799. This is spooky as hell. So a lot of people are saying quick search on the missing person's name shown that most have since been recovered healthy and in fact were not stuffed in cabinets from Wayfair. Okay, so this is a whole conspiracy that was going around saying don't let facts and reality stop you from pushing the debunked lies as a truth. Why would they use their real names? People couldn't really work out what this was all about. But in 2020, interestingly enough, the BBC would actually push back hard on this theory, calling it a false conspiracy that was actually being pushed by QAnon of all groups. Look at this.
But first of all, here's the theory. A lot of these storage cabinets on the Wayfair website have girls' names. A well-known QAnon activist noticed this and tweeted, "My spidey senses are tingling. What's with these storage cabinets? Extremely high prices, all listed with girls' names and identical units selling for different amounts." The suggestion being that actually this was about trafficking young girls. Well, Wayfair has said there is, of course, no truth to these claims, but that hasn't stopped this conspiracy spreading all around the world. Here's data from Spreadfast, a social media analytics tool. It shows the global searches for the term Wayfair, mostly in the US, but a huge amount of interest in Turkey and the UK too. The term's generated 4.4 million engagements on Instagram and has spread rapidly on public groups and pages on Facebook too, resulting in more than 12,000 posts and nearly 1 million direct engagements. This is the point at which I'm going to bring in Mariana Spring, our specialist disinformation reporter. These things are pretty remarkable for how much traction they get, given there's so little underneath them. But how do we explain how this one suddenly exploded across the net?
It's absolutely amazing how it burst into the mainstream and spread. So after this QAnon activist first tweeted the claims, we then saw how it was picked up by QAnon followers, and that's often what happens, and they do their own research, so they investigate the claims. And in this case, they then pointed to the fact that the girls' names, the names of these cabinets, actually match the names of missing children, usually in the US. And one of the missing children that was named actually had to come out on a Facebook Live. She's a lady, and she said, look, this is ridiculous. Why are you linking this to me? I didn't even go missing in the first place. And then from that point, we just saw it spiral. It was shared on Reddit, on a conspiracy theory thread. And then it was all over Twitter, all over Facebook and TikTok. And the claims became increasingly outlandish. So it wasn't just about the cabinets anymore. It was about personalized pillows, which if you tried to put certain messages on them seemed to cost $10,000. And the suggestion was that high price was because a child would come with the pillow. And again, it was part of this human trafficking ring. And then we also saw people suggesting that if you search some of the stock IDs, the numbers of the products on Yandex, which is a Russian search engine, actually images of women appeared, and that was again part of this human trafficking ring that was related to Wayfair. All of these claims are totally untrue, and Wayfair has come out to deny them. There were issues with price glitching, which explains some of the high prices. Also, some of the cabinets being advertised were industrial size, really big, which explains why they were so expensive. And the names are generated by means of random name generators. There was no specific logic to why those female names were chosen. And with the Yandex thing, it turns out that actually if you search any string of numbers, the pictures of these women come up, and that glitch has now also been fixed. So all totally untrue, but incredible.
So they had an answer for absolutely everything, okay? But then the Epstein files came out. And then suddenly things started to look a little bit more suspicious again, because they were saying, you know what, turns out Jeffrey Epstein was out here buying some of these overpriced Wayfair products. $8,453 to Wayfair LLC. Okay, and it was being shipped to his girlfriend, Karina. So this was getting put around as saying Jeffrey Epstein's assistant bought a single, unlabeled $8,453 item from Wayfair. People saying that's odd. Why would Epstein hire a dentist to do his interior decorating? He had a room in his Zorro ranch with dentist chairs and other medical-looking equipment. God only knows what that sicko was doing with it. Brought and delivered a whole ambulance to Zorro ranch as well. Okay? People are saying anyone who actually looked into the items for themselves knows those SKU codes were never debunked and no one even tried to. People saying the SKU codes were debunked. Turned out that any string of numbers would return pictures of kids in that Russian search engine. The very specific names of the furniture, though, is quite disturbing. They said it was a code algorithm that randomly selected the names. Right. Said all those who stated we were crazy for believing this in the last several years, the truth most definitely hurts. A lot of people felt like that was vindication. Said, was there ever even remotely cogent explanations for why they had all these extremely specific names attached to their products that isn't something absolutely diabolical? What was the shill narrative that explained that one away? Because I feel it's a tad suspicious to have multiple instances of this, and it's not like the names are standard everyday names. They're super uncommon for the most part. The exact spelling of these unique names is hard to believe it was coincidental. It didn't have similar names that sounded the same. They were identical. It's weird either way. The reasoning was that the items were out of stock or something that required a placeholder listing, i.e. can't/don't want to remove the listing entirely, so raise the price high enough that no one would accidentally buy it at that price, and the names were apparently randomly picked names. Hard to believe these randomly chosen names line up with missing persons. Doesn't seem random at all. Yeah, randomly sounds totally plausible. So they're saying these are the receipts for the purchase in the Epstein files. It says from All Modern has a ton of shit over $6,000, from hand-loomed rugs to patio furniture. Not sure why anyone would spend that much money on shit from Wayfair, though. Okay, so let's have a look. This is apparently what was bought. It says All Modern, and it's the same price. So I thought if you bought something from All Modern, it would come from All Modern. How comes he's got the Wayfair approach? But maybe that works. I've ordered things from Wayfair before, and I've not had separate invoices from the vendors before. I find this a little bit weird. But apparently it was some furniture that was ordered. That's the story. It says what we're seeing is the PayPal confirmation of the order, not likely the itemized receipt from Wayfair. That's why there's no description. I'd be curious to see the Wayfair email, but remind me who founded PayPal. Okay. I missed the PayPal receipt as a quantity of one. Others pointed out that PayPal will provide an itemized receipt if the seller, in this case Wayfair, provides the items in the API call. Wayfair will apparently allow a product to be listed without a description. Yeah, this looks more and more fishy. I'd still love to see the Wayfair receipt, which is probably in the files somewhere. Okay, so very suspicious. People didn't really know what was going on. And there were alleged comments from former Wayfair employees that said that they had actually seen suspicious listings and orders. Comments from an ex-Wayfair employee. So as someone who worked at Wayfair, there's a reason I quit. They said, hold up, pause, spill the tea. Said, oh, we also straight up were told that we were not allowed to discuss the Wayfair scandal in any way, shape or form in our personal lives, and especially at work because you could get fired for it. Says, I really don't feel super comfy, but the two things were, one, don't question the overpriced furniture, it doesn't need review, and two, there were a lot of calls about buying multiple bunk beds for 4+ kids, like 4-kid bunk beds, but they're buying like 10 of them. Bring it up to management, and they say just sell it to them, that's your job, often purchased by aggressive and shady men. Says, I mean, if you think about it, drop shippers are a fantastic opportunity to illegally sell items and launder the money. Says the option to purchase is not for everyone. This tells me that only certain rich white PDFs have the access to purchase, almost as if they have a catalog with the names and pics of the girls so they can go online and purchase. The CEO probably got paid big bucks to turn a blind eye, or he's one of the rich white PDFs. Seems like attention seeking to me. There's a reason why I quit working at Wayfair. That grabs people's attention. As to why and what happened, she proceeds to mention two things which are already public. Nothing to see here. Another ex-Wayfair employee who worked as a customer service agent said there was a singular pillow being sold for $30,000. But what was odd is the dimensions on the pillow was for a crate. Another ex-employee who was much higher up said they were told a handful of times to refund an order for $30,000 plus. No questions asked. Later found out that's because a child died in transit. Allegedly. Okay, allegedly. People saying bullshit, Pizzagate is proven to be a psyop hoax, distraction from the real crimes. This is a desperate attempt at distraction. Is it another distraction or is it a distraction for the distraction? But anyway, jump up to today and now they're saying that children are being sold on Vinted. Users have spotted these suspicious toy listings. This is a plushie for sale for 13,000 euros. 6 to 9. 68. $30,000 PlayStation, €30,000 PlayStation controller. A little bit suspicious, huh? $30,000 figure object. This looks like a tiny little kid's figurine. It looked like a girl in a dress. 30,000 euros. Is it a Mario pup? A Mario doll? 20,000 euros. How? Have y'all noticed that these kid toys are being sold for more than $10,000 and the description is always something like 150 cm, healthy boy/girl, etc. Vinted does nothing about this. I don't know if this is a new scam or if people are actually selling kids, but this is sick and Vinted needs to be boycotted. Says this needs to be sent to your local police department. Of course, a lot of people are reporting this to the police, but why would Vinted let it slide in the first place? Such a clown fiesta. They're saying because Vinted is run by automated AI systems, not real humans. That's why so many innocent accounts get banned or suspended. That's why real scam claims get overlooked. Now they're saying Vinted is deleting all the comments related to this issue from their official TikTok account. Oh, accountability. Don't underestimate what they'll let slide, then ban people for the most ridiculous of reasons all the time. Saying these big corporations are normally a part of things like this. Look at the Epstein files. So many people in power were a part of it. This is absolutely a federal matter because it's not just happening in one town or state, but across the country and in other countries too. But the government apparently likes that stuff, so they'll probably just participate. The fact these listings don't get taken down, but if you upload a screenshot of a model wearing your clothes from the site that you brought it from, it's instantly removed and you get a warning. It's crazy. Right? I couldn't be bothered to type in all the measurements of a dog backpack, so I took a screenshot of the diagram from Amazon, immediately removed. Now they apparently allow AI-generated images. It's not about safety. It says, for reference on why this is likely fake, see this link on Fact Check. It says, why can such information appear on Vinted? Vinted is a platform for second-hand items. Its catalog rules list clothing, shoes, and accessories for children, toys, and children's furniture, childcare equipment, household goods, electronics, video games, books, collectibles, hobby items, and generally permitted categories. This explains why age and size information can appear in the platform's logic. Sellers of children's clothing can specify sizes and age ranges. If such information then appears for toys, plushies, or furniture, there could be several reasons. Incorrect category, inappropriately copied information, poor translation, a listing error, a trolling attempt, or a deliberately provocative advertisement. Exaggerated prices can have various causes: inflated prices, placeholder prices, trolling, deliberate viral marketing, attempted fraud, or simply dubious advertisements. However, a high price alone is not proof of human I'll read a little bit more of this. They're saying, has it already been reported? Yes. I think this is all from this page, but it's not going to be in English, is it? So I'm assuming they've pasted it from this page. So there's more examples of the screenshots that are going around here. So has this already been reported? Yeah, it's been particularly reported in France. French media picked up on the claim that Vinted hosted ads for PDFs. However, reports did not classify the allegations as proven charge, rather as rumors circulating on social media in conspiracy theory circles. So an allegation had been circulating. Vinted rejected the accusation, said there was no evidence of criminality. The French police reported several suspicious ads to Pharos, the reporting center for illegal online content, but that wasn't proof. And they're saying this is a rehashing of the old Wayfair myth from 2020, and that's been fact-checked as not true. They're saying Etsy was similarly misinterpreted in 2023. Expensive pizza pictures were alleged as cover for illegal videos. It says you mustn't doubt something like that. Many posts about the screenshots say, unfortunately, no one believes that. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You shouldn't doubt things like this these days. This is a rhetorical trick. It shifts the burden of proof. The person making a serious claim is no longer expected to provide evidence. Instead, everyone is expected to prove it's false. Especially with a topic like trafficking, emotions run high. No one wants to give the impression of downplaying such crimes, but fact-checking is not downplaying the issue. It's necessary because false accusations and panic-mongering and conspiracy theories can hinder genuine investigations. So it's saying, what would constitute reliable evidence? A screenshot alone is not enough. A credible suspicion would require significantly more. The complete link to the ad, the seller profile, the full description text, chat histories, platform responses, reports to the authorities, investigative information, or official statements. I'm not going to lie. That's not enough. Somebody needs to order one of these and have a kid turn up. That's what they need to do to prove it, for sure. Okay? I do feel like they're doing a lot to disprove this. They're doing a lot to disprove this. But anyway, okay, let's see what people said in response to this long copy and pasted comment. Right, so it's fake. What happens if someone makes a purchase on one of these ads? What does the buyer get? What's being sold here? I find it suspicious someone's highlighting a very serious issue and you're saying it's fake without further explanation as to why it's fake. As far as I'm concerned, someone's posting ads with clear as day descriptions on a poorly run app and you're saying there's nothing to see here, guys. I'd like to see one of the companies and sellers come out and make it very clear and say, oh yeah, no, we're doing that because we want to have a $10,000 listing because we don't want anyone to buy this. And it's cheaper to keep the ad up than take it down and put it up again. They're saying, I'll tell you why. I've received numerous cases over the years of potential cases of trafficking. These types of posts usually stem from QAnon. It's more than likely people are posting false posts like this to drum up hysteria about trafficking. We've seen this happening with Wayfair, Etsy, Amazon, now Vinted, all without a shred of evidence. It's not, there is a shred. I would say their listings are a shred. They're a shred of evidence. Genuine uses other methods that are far more insidious in their means of avoiding detection. I recommend checking out the likes of Unseen UK's Modern Slavery Helpline website, the US National Human Trafficking Hotline, and Anti-Slavery International. Hope for Justice, Stop the Traffic. They've got excellent resources on what to look out for. Fact checkers are excellent tools for the telltale signs of a hoax. Just Google it, and it had an issue with all of the things. So it doesn't look fake to me. This is a conversation someone had with a seller about such toy. No freaking way. They said, hey, is this for real? Are you selling the doll or something else? Would you be interested? What is this anyway? €681 for fingers. No, the doll. Secret conversation, please only via Tor browser. Is that a hoax? That could be fake. But again, it's like a shred, not a shred of evidence. Looks like a shred. That's a shred. You can disprove the shred. Looks pretty fake to me. It's not how it works. See, this is the thing. It's like, okay, but do you have proof that it's fake? Do you have proof that it's fake? All of the news reports on this is coming to the conclusion it's a hoax. What? The mainstream news? What? The mainstream news that's run by the elites, the Epstein class. If these were legit, police will be able to trace and stop these pretty fast. Why didn't police stop Jeffrey Epstein when he was out here running around? Actual would use much more sophisticated methods. I'm not saying I completely believe it wholeheartedly, but also I think the efforts to disprove it aren't really giving much evidence on the other way. Listen, if the internet sleuths can find these ads and bring them to light, these evidently aren't doing a very effective job. Right? I don't know. Or maybe someone who actually knows what they're talking about because they're a literal expert in anti-trafficking. I don't know. Like, they're copy and pasting. People are working overtime to copy and paste stuff. But I'm like, this person's just copy and pasting the same thing, 10 plus. It's like some undercover agent really needs to buy some to expose this. They should investigate, but this has to be either trolling or some sick, stupid shit, or most likely a scam. An actual human would have to be really dumb to leave an open digital trail like this on the dark web. The dark web exists and is accessible, and most of it's already scams. See, they're copy and so when I see the same thing copy and pasted a whole bunch, I just start to think, I'm not sure. It's fake. It's fake. For reference on why it's likely fake. I just feel like that's possibly a real deal. There's a documentary on YouTube by a Polish journalist, Patrick Vega, who describes how children are sold on auction pages like Vinted with the description of a toy. We're living in vile ages where sick parents sell their children for organs or to be essayed by sick individuals. I could not bear to finish the documentaries. The stories are sickening. Saying it's called Devil Eyes. I'm going to check this out in my spare time. I don't want to get any trouble right now for watching this, but I'd like to check that out. Vinted has officially denied the claims, just like Wayfair denied the claims. But French authorities have reportedly opened a preliminary inquiry into the allegations. And let's not forget what the same French authorities that let Jeffrey Epstein's fixer Jean-Luc Brunel off himself in prison with no camera footage. Those French authorities. The authorities like the American authorities that let Jeffrey Epstein just roll around out here unchecked after he had these charges. I just don't trust anyone at this point. I'm not trying to spread or perpetrate the conspiracy theory, but I don't think I've seen enough to fully debunk this. And I also haven't seen enough to wholeheartedly agree that it's all true as well. They said Vinted listings under scrutiny as French authorities start inquiry over allegations. Reactions to the claims online have been swift and emotionally charged, with many users asking Vinted for an explanation, reflecting broader concerns over child safety and online platforms. In response, Vinted opened an investigation into the listings, but states that it did not find any evidence concerning or connecting the ads to any type of illegal or criminal activity. The Lithuanian-based company shared the following statement in one of its most recent Instagram posts. I don't know what they got going on in Lithuania, but it says, we're aware of the ongoing rumors about these listings and want to share the facts. Following a thorough investigation, we found no evidence linking them to any criminal activity. Once again, we investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. Let's not do all that, all right? I'd like to know what the police investigation looks like on this. The rumors are based on a misunderstanding of how our platform works. The age shown on these listings refers to the age group the toy is intended for, much like the age label on a toy's packaging, not to a child. Come on. This field is used across all our categories, not only clothing. If you see a listing that genuinely concerns you, report it to our safety team so we can review it. Thank you for helping keep Vinted safe. Claims over the listings have led to French authorities opening a preliminary investigation, reporting the listings to FAROS, the National Centre for Reporting Illegal Content on the Internet, to look further into the nature and background of the listings. An official outcome of their investigation has yet to be made. So, yeah, plushie, 8 years, 30,000 euros. This isn't the first time online marketplaces have been accused of allowing criminal or illegal listings. Obviously, Wayfair was mentioned before. They said that following investigations, the claims were unfounded. Like other large peer-to-peer marketplaces, Vinted operates with moderation systems designed to detect and remove prohibited content, deploying a combination of automated tools with user reporting mechanisms. The effectiveness and limitations of such systems are often placed under fire when viral incidents draw widespread attention. I need to hear from the people that posted the listings. I need to hear just one. You're talking about there's not a shred of evidence. Well, why don't you give me a shred of debunking and just give me a statement? We're one of the sellers. It's actually not true. We did it for a reason because it's too expensive to take the listing down. So we just put it up to 30 grand while we try and get more inventory. We've not heard a peep from the people that are putting these up there. Not heard a peep from them. All we're hearing is Vinted and Wayfair. Oh no, we've checked it out. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's still the listings are still up there for some reason, but don't worry about it. Just shut up and go away. Just shut up. Just shut up. Fashion United reached out to Vinted for commentary on the listings and they shared their official investigation, their official statement. All right. We thoroughly investigated the listings currently being shared and found no credible cases linking them to child activity. Vinted, you're not qualified to investigate anything linking anything to child activity. That's a job for the police. A conclusion also reached by an independent fact check of similar claims, where these listings are deliberately faked to fuel this conversation. Okay, now we're talking. Who's faking them? If we can't hear from the people that are putting them up there, who is faking them? Who are they? Name them and shame them. Surely this is a crime to even fake this. To even, for a joke, try and set up something that resembles a real-life human ring. Surely that's illegal and people should be facing swift justice. We've also seen an increase in abusive language directed at sellers of higher priced items, as well as members creating listings designed to catch suspected wrongdoers or contacting other users posing as buyers and threatening to report them to the police. While we understand the concern behind this kind of behavior amounts to harassment, makes it harder for us to moderate the platform effectively, and can interfere with genuine investigations, putting members at risk. We do not tolerate harassment of any kind, and we take action against members who violate our rules. That's quite interesting. That's probably the most insightful statement I've seen in this whole thing. If a listing or a member's behavior goes against our rules, we have a number of procedures in place. This may include banning accounts and carrying out further investigation in coordination with the competent authorities where appropriate. The allegations come as Vinted continues to grow its operations and experiences significant financial growth, including a recent €880 million secondary share sale that valued the platform at €8 billion and its expansion into new markets like Australia. Now, look, I find this interesting. I'm not telling you that this is absolutely going on, and I'm also not telling you that, this is being completely 1,000% debunked, because I just feel like I'd like to hear more from the authorities. It says the French police are doing a preliminary investigation into it. So while the fact checkers are copy and pasting a bunch of copy into loads of Reddit threads to try and convince everybody there's nothing to see here, the French police are still in their preliminary investigation. So I'd like to hear it from the authorities, and I would like to see more investigation into this. I do think it's quite disturbing, and I think this whole thing of like, oh, everybody is just saying you have to believe everything when it comes to these trafficking allegations. No, but I think a lot of people disbelieved and debunked, oh, there's no rich billionaires flying young girls around the world on private planes. Turns out there were, right? Turns out all that Epstein shit was absolutely true. So I think we do need to believe victims, and we do need to actually take these sorts of things seriously and not just say, oh, it's just a load of nonsense. Let's just copy and paste a bunch of fact check stuff that doesn't really have any substantial proof disproving it. That's just my opinion, okay? You can tell me I'm wrong. You can call me call me what you want, but I am concerned. I do think it's super weird. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. I'm out for now, gang. Peace.